You lie in your casket at your own funeral, still, sad, and confused. As you try to put together when you died, the memory floods back to you as you recall grabbing your chest, then collapsing. You hear the preacher at the podium welcome people, but it mostly sounds muffled given your new existence, and reality begins to sink in slowly of your fate. You breathe heavily or gasp or do something similar to that reaction, despite not having any physical lungs, and that also confuses you further. You don't feel like you are floating or standing, but just being, existing. There is silence for a moment, and you begin to hear voices you recognize, and for some reason, this scares you to your core. You realize what they will say about your life, about your lies, which will all be true. As your children stand to deliver their eulogies, their words strike you with a piercing clarity, each word bringing a sharp pain to the life you didn't really live. You taught us so much, they begin, their voices a tumult of emotion and strength. They recount the invaluable lessons and virtues you instilled in them, the strength and resilience you demonstrated. They learned what they didn't want to become. You taught them what regret looks like on the soul. You represented a ghost in the living form throughout their lives. Yet, woven through their tribute is a thread of palpable absence and hurt. They were crying at their core, and just like when you were alive, you weren't there to bring them any comfort. Even as you left them physical things after your death, you were still giving them things they didn't want or ask for. They just wanted you, your time, your smile, your approval, your love. They speak of life's milestones where your presence was acutely absent, graduations where your chair stood conspicuously vacant, a silent testament to your priorities. They recall the subtle yet unmistakable comparisons you made between them, favoritism conveyed not in words but through actions, leaving indelible marks on their young hearts. Your career often overshadowed their formative years, casting long shadows over their achievements and joys. They remember with aching clarity the countless times they sought your attention, only to be greeted by a closed office door and a distracted dismissal. Despite the pain woven into their memories, their words are tinged with an unexpected understanding and forgiveness. They acknowledge the unseen pressures and internal struggles that drove you, recognizing the complexities of the life you led. They speak of teenage arguments, rebellious streaks, and harsh exchanges, now seen through the lens of maturity and empathy. You wanted to list all the reasons why, but no one in existence would listen to your excuses, not even you, not the wind, not your heart, nobody. Christine steps forward, her presence a fusion of strength and sorrow. Her voice, sharp and clear, cuts through the silence. You were my rock, she declares, her words a torrent of shared memories. She speaks of laughter, love, and nights filled with adventure, a vivid tapestry of your life together. I'll get to it. I promise I will make it better, phrases you often used now echo, empty and unfulfilled, in the vast gulf between your promises and reality. As she speaks, Christine paints a picture of unspoken truths and lost moments. She recalls the biting exchanges, the cold misunderstandings that froze the warmth you once shared, nights of turning away, mornings of silence where joy and conversation should have been. These are her memories. Her voice trembles as she remembers reaching out, only to find you lost in your own world, your career casting a long shadow over her needs. You listen, engulfed by a wave of regret. Your heart aches for the lost times, the tender words left unsaid, the silences that should have been filled with love. A desperate wish to turn back time consumes you, to mend the invisible walls that rose between you, one neglect at a time. In this haunting silence you wonder, will Christine remarry? In many ways you realize your absence began long before death. You acknowledge how she continually forgave, accepting less than she deserved, all for the sake of your children. You reflect on the lies you told, the self-deception you lived in, believing your own fabrications. Even at this moment, it hits you that you are focusing on your jealousy instead of the moments shared and lost. Your thoughts race, a jarring mix of realization and remorse. Christine's words, a powerful testament to a shared life now past, leave you grappling with the stark reality of your choices and their echoing consequences. Paul, your brother, strides to the podium, his presence a blend of somberness and unspoken pain. His words are brief yet piercing, echoing a raw, unfiltered truth. "I wish I knew you better, to miss you more," he confesses, his voice tinged with reluctant honesty. Harsh but true. The starkness of his admission cuts through the room, laying bare the chasm that grew between you. The sting of guilt hits you sharply as you recall the messages left unanswered, the childhood promises made in the sanctuary of your treehouse, sacred vows of eternal brotherhood, now shattered. The memories of those innocent, laughter-filled days clash jarringly with the reality of your neglect, a vivid contrast to the bond you let crumble. You're haunted by the times Paul needed you the most, particularly during his struggles with rehab. You distanced yourself, unwilling to be encumbered by his troubles, choosing to turn a blind eye rather than extend a helping hand. The weight of this abandonment now presses heavily upon you, a searing reminder of the brotherly duties you shirked, the emotional support you withheld. Your avoidance, a self-serving shield, left him isolated when he needed you most. In this moment, the realization of your profound failure as a brother is palpable, the missed opportunities for reconciliation and support glaringly apparent. Paul's words, succinct yet laden with unspoken sorrow, leave a lasting imprint, a poignant testament to a relationship neglected and a familial bond left irreparably fractured. As the ceremony nears its end, the congregation stands to pay their final respects. You observe them unseen and unheard, a spectral observer at your own parting. The preacher's words resonate deeply. Let us remember not just what was lost, but also what was given, the love shared, the lives touched. As you begin to drift into oblivion, the last vestiges of your existence start to fade. You attempt to hold on to the fragments of your life, to reflect on your journey, but even this is denied to you. There are no bells chiming, no film playing all your moments, no solace, no reconciliation. Your thoughts, your memories, your very essence, they all start to slip away, ungraspable like sand through your fingers. Your thoughts burn, and just as you try to articulate one final thought, to comprehend the entirety of your life and death, you are cut off mid-sentence, a poignant, unfinished symphony, your story ending abruptly, leaving behind an echo of unfulfilled promises and unspoken words. You become a part of oblivion. If this narrative resonated with you, do support us. Hit that like button, drop a comment with your thoughts, and subscribe. Thank you for staying with us to the end. See you in the next video on Plaid Chronicles.